Hey there, it's Bobby aka Paginator, and I'm here today with a big old book haul from Book Outlet. I had a totally impulsive shopping day a week or two ago and got a bunch of stuff on Book Outlet where you can get new books for really low prices, and yeah, I got some fun things. So the boxes came in the post office today and I am ready to do a haul. Now, because I had to drive 2 hours and do some errands and things. It's now quite late in the evening, and I don't know that I want to spend time making notes on every single book and doing a full plot synopsis for you. So I'm going to be going through this pretty quickly, and again, a lot of these were impulse buys, so I might not even be able to tell you a whole lot about each book, so I apologize. But let's dive in. So I'm going to start with the coloring and doodling books that I got. I was just in the mood to buy some coloring pages for my classroom, as well as just some fun artsy fartsy books for me to play around with. And so I have a baby animal safari coloring book, and this is going to go to my classroom because my kiddos love coloring when they have a few minutes to spare if they finish an assignment early or something. And this also is going to my classroom. It is a Red Queen coloring book, of course inspired by the series by Victoria Aveyard. And I have quite a few students who really love that series, so they're going to enjoy coloring those pages. Then we have one called the Don't Get Caught Doodle Notebook, which, as it suggests, is a notebook full of doodle possibilities for you. Like, there's a strange doodle here that says something to do with the Lunch Lady Slotted Spoon Hall of Fame. Sure, let's doodle some slotted spoons. Then we have Color Me Creative, which is kind of a guidebook for doodling and doing artwork. And this is fun because it's a signed copy. And there is an app that comes with it that has digital content. That's a free app, so that's kind of fun. Then we have Grumpy, which is Moodles are doodles with the power to change your mood. So if you're grumpy, you grab one of these and doodle and color. And then lastly, I have a Color Me journal that's called Shut Up, I'm Coloring. And it has some pages you can color and then some pages you can write, just for fun. Next, I have 3 books that kind of go together because they are all Jane Austen retellings by Deborah White Smith. We have Amanda, which is a retelling of Emma. First Impressions, which is a retelling of Pride and Prejudice. And Possibilities, which is a retelling of Persuasion. Persuasion's my favorite Jane Austen book, so I'm very excited to read this one, especially. Alright, the rest aren't in any particular category, so I'm just going to start powering through the books, and if I know anything about the stories, I will tell you. So this is The Sacred Lives of Minnow Bly by Stephanie Oakes. I have no idea what this is about. I kept seeing this when I was clicking through Book Outlet and just thought the cover was interesting because it's someone holding a really old book. And it says something along here about now their prophet has been murdered and their camp is set aflame, and it's clear that Minnow knows something about what happened that night. Interesting. Then we have Bright Smoke and Cold Fire by Rosamund Hodge, and this is an author pick for me. I read everything that Rosamund Hodge writes, The Cruel Beauty and Crimson Bound. She's a really, really good writer, and I just love the atmosphere of her stories, and they're always a little bit dark and yet romantic in strange ways. Up next we have The Julian Game by Adele Griffin, and this was a cover pick for me. I thought the cover just kind of looked interesting, and it was, I think, $1 or something on Book Outlet, so I thought I'd give it a try. Then we have Deadly, which is a National Jewish Book Award winner, and it is a murder mystery about how to catch an invisible killer. So the idea of an invisible killer is what intrigued me with this one. Next we have Love Lucy, which just looks like a cute contemporary. romance, and it reminded me of Love and Gelato, which I just read recently and absolutely adored. So I just thought we'll give this one a try. Sometimes you're just in a mood for a contemporary romance, and it's good to have some of those stockpiled. Up next I have Puddin', which is a sequel or a companion to Dumplin'. I loved Dumplin', and I don't know if I'm gonna love Puddin'. I read the first couple of chapters online from Epic Reads. They send me first chapters sometimes, and I wasn't like super crazy about the first couple of chapters that I read, but when you see the book on Book Outlet, and it might be one that would be good to get in kids' hands because some kids want to see themselves represented in positive ways, etc., then you get the book. So there we go. Then we have The Duel, The Parallel Lives of Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr. I do have a few kids that are fans of the Hamilton musical, and some that are just interested in him because their social studies teacher is fantastic and gets them hyped up about historical figures. So there we go. Then we have Rose Under Fire by Elizabeth Vane, or Wayne. This is a historical fiction one that I have been hearing about for years and just never picked up a copy of, so I grabbed that. Here we have The Science of Harry Potter, How Magic Really Works, and it is a nonfiction book, but it looks at the science behind some of the magical things we see in Harry Potter. And then here we have The Conjurer's Riddle, which is the sequel to The Inventor's Secret by Andrea Kramer, which I have on the shelf behind me. So I thought I'd pick up the sequel. There is a third book in the series. I'll have to keep an eye on Book Outlet and see if I can get that one at some point. Next we have two books by Jodi Meadows. We have Asunder and Infinite. These are part of a series, and I have the first one already, and wanted to pick up the rest of that series. Then I have this one called Project Jackalope. If you don't know, as many of you do, I live in Wyoming, and jackalopes are not a real animal, but they're kind of everywhere in Wyoming in the touristy shops because we have tons of jackalopes, or tons of jackrabbits and tons of antelopes, and that's the two animals that are mixed to make a jackalope. And I just thought this would be a good one for where I live. Then I have Mortal Danger. The cover was interesting to me because the from the eyes up on the person's face was hidden, and it says revenge is a dish best served cold. The author is Anna Guire, the author of Enclave, and yeah, I just thought the cover kind of intrigued me, and I have no idea really what's going to happen in the story. But that's what happens when you have impulse buying day on Book Outlet. Next we have The Girl of Midnight by Melissa Gray, just another impulse buy, mostly due to the cover because it's purple and pretty, and I like pretty covers and I like purple. This is an author pick, Kristen Hanna, Firefly Lane. Her book, The Nightingale, is one of the most amazing books that I have read in a long, long time, and I keep passing it out to my friends and saying, read this book, and then they'll bring it back to me and say, oh, I cried, and so I'm just excited to read something else by Kristen Hanna. This one is a cover pick for me. It is Boy 21 by Matthew Quick. It's a book with a boy's face on the cover, and some of my boys feel like every book is about a girl. Really, that's why I got this one. Alright. Then we have In the Time of the Dragon Moon, and the day that I was shopping, I was like, oh, dragons! Because I love dragons. I just do. This one is another like impulse cover one because the girl has freaky eyelashes. Don't know what it's going to be about. Have no idea. Then I got The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson. I just love everything that she writes, and so I just grabbed a copy of this one because I haven't read this one yet. I know. That's weird. The next two books are ones that have been around the YA book community a while and been talked about a lot, but I just haven't ever read them. And this one is A Female of the Species by Mindy McGinnis. And then we have The Nowhere Girls by Amy Reed, and I understand this one is about girl power and like that kind of stuff. There is, I think, a sexual assault in this book, so I'm going to be sure to read it before taking it to school because I don't want my students to encounter that kind of thing when they're a bit too young for that kind of stuff. Alright, then we have The Language of Stars by Louise Hawes. I can read. And this was another impulse because of the cover that was purple and pretty. 3 more books. We have Forever Again, which I think is a historical fiction thing, or maybe time travel or something. I'm not entirely certain. Maybe some of you out there have read that one and know. This is a middle grade book by Kate Cleese called Regarding the Fountain, and it's absolutely adorable. It's so much fun, and it's a story told in letters and pictures and postcards and things, and about a school who needs to replace their drinking fountain, and they hire this fountain designer who goes above and beyond, and there's kind of a fun little mystery that goes along with this. I had a copy and it mysteriously walked away from my classroom library, so when I saw it on Book Outlet, I snagged up another copy to replace the one that went missing. And the last book in my stack is by Kate Karras Quinn, and it is Don't You Forget About Me. So this was an impulse because of the title. And probably when I sit down to read this book, I'll be going, don't you forget about me, the whole time I'm reading it, because what else would you do? So there we go. That is my Book Outlet book haul, and I am excited to be able to share that with you. I apologize that I didn't have notes on the plots of all the books this time, but as I mentioned before, things have been busy today, and I've still got papers to grade, so it's time for me to say goodbye. Have a wonderful and bookish day. Happy reading. Adios.